Hello, welcome to Zentangle Explore. I am so glad that you are here to draw with me. My name is Esther Piszczek. I am a certified Zentangle teacher, and this is a class where we draw one Zentangle pattern really, really slowly. So if you can draw a line and hold a pen, then you are in the perfect place. What you need is just a couple of pieces of paper that's you can fit in the palm of your hand. This is watercolor paper and a pen, but any paper you have will be fine. I have a 01 Micron, which is a little fancy, but if you just have a ballpoint, absolutely perfect. So we're going to start out by doing a brief breathing meditation so that we can just slow down and settle in, and then we will draw. So get nice and comfortable in your seat. You can close your eyes if you like. I'm going to close mine. And just check in with your breath. Say, hello, breath. Welcome to this moment. And just find your inhale and just notice what it's doing. No need to change it. We breathe so many breaths every single day, every single hour, every single minute. And it's so wonderful to just take a moment to notice what breathing feels like. What does it feel like for you? How does it feel in your body? How does it feel in the space that you're in? How does it feel in this moment? Top of the inhale, there's a tiny little turnaround stop. And then the releasing exhale. And then a tiny little turnaround stop at the bottom. Just a baby little rest. Air flows in, and then a rest. Air flows out, and then a rest. Perhaps notice where you can feel it. Maybe you can feel or notice your ribs expanding, contracting. Perhaps there's a little coolness at the edge of your nostrils. Perhaps you're feeling warmth in your body or on your skin. Maybe there's a little expansion of the belly or into the back body. However you're feeling, it is absolutely perfect. Just slowing down, bringing all of your attention right here, allowing anything else that's been going on today or will go on today to just rest. It'll be waiting for you to pick it up exactly as it is when you're done breathing and drawing and slowing down. When you're ready, let's take a big inhale together. And a nice sighing exhale, making sound if you'd like. Ah, allowing that vibration to be felt in your chest, in your torso, in your throat. Nice big inhale. And exhale. Oh. And one last big inhale together. Nice releasing exhale. Ah. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, knowing that whatever we create together will be perfect just as it is. Okay, let's draw. So I'm going to change my camera. Focus. All right, so I have a couple of pieces of watercolor paper, and I use watercolor paper just because if I want to add watercolor or some other medium to it, marker, whatever, color it afterwards, and it's nice and thick and easy to do that, to add other things. And also, sometimes we like to start a new piece in the middle of drawing. So I like to have more than one. And I also have a 01 Micron, which is just a fancy little pen. I also have a Pigma 05 here and a ballpoint. So if you just have a ballpoint on your desk, that's absolutely perfect. And if you just have a piece of copy paper, that is fabulous too. All right, so we are going to draw this pattern Frost by Laura Vario, who's a certified Zentangle teacher, and we're going to draw it really, really slowly. Just pull this in for you. So we're going to start with a line, nice slow line. And the top of this line is a little ball, and I'm going to turn that ball black. This is a really lovely pattern if you wanted to add color to it. Today we'll just be playing with whatever color you have. Maybe you have a black pen, maybe you have some other pen. But now on the left-hand side here, I'm going to draw a little droopy leaf, and it's not touching this ball. I'm going to color it in. And I may not color all of these in, but I'm going to start. The pattern has them. The creator, Laura, started with these all colored in. So I'm going to color mine in. And then on the top, I have another little leaf, like just like that. Just this little kind of paisley shape, and whatever shape it is absolutely perfect. It's the idea of the pattern that we explore in this class. So far we have a line. I'm going to track the elements here so we can change them whenever we want. And it's the exploration part. So we have a line with ball on top, like a little tiny little lollipop. And then we have these little paisley teardrop shaped petals. And I'm making mine black. We can color in so slowly. I'm speeding up here because I'm teaching, but I want to slow down and breathe. Just allowing whatever is showing up to show up. And the last part of this pattern is an aura line. An aura line just mirrors what comes before. So I'm going to start here on the bottom of my little stem. And now I'm just drawing, tracing around this shape, whatever this shape is, and then connecting down to the beginning. So if I want to add to this, I mean, I can put these wherever I want on this page, and how could we change this? We could make the stem longer. We could make it thicker. We could add a double stem. We could make this little center ball bigger. We could turn it into a triangle or a rectangle or a square. These petals can be whatever shape we want. There are 3 here, but what if there were 5? What if there were 2? What if there was only 1? What would that look like? You can explore that in your own way whenever you like. And if you'd like to connect these, I'm going to connect mine in a kind of a crazy way here, just for fun because I can, and I have a pen. So we start with a stem, and then it's got a connected little ball. But what if that ball wasn't connected? What if these little petals are smaller? What if 2 of them are small and 1 of them is giant? Any what if question that you have that's coming up for you, you can answer. What if you decide you don't want to aura it? What if it's just like this? I'm going to aura it because it's fun. I really like doing auras because all we're doing is drawing exactly what's there. So I don't really have to think about it too much. Just follow the line. Nice, slow line. Remembering to breathe. So I really like this. I really like enjoying this connecting bit. So I'm going to continue connecting. And if you think to yourself, well, I don't know what to change. If I was going to change something on this page, what would it be? And so if that's the case, then just pick one part of it, just one thing. What if this line was just a little bit different? What would it look like? What if my aura was squiggly instead of smooth and flowing? What if I draw even slower than I am right now? We're not creating something like this little evolution here of lines and filled in spaces that I'm making. It's not something that I'm planning because this is an exploration. So that means that whatever shows up and however it shows up is absolutely perfect because I'm exploring what the options are. And from those explorations, I might say, well, this I kind of like. This has potential. This I don't like as much, but I'm glad I did it because it allowed me to see that that was an option. If it's a true exploration, you start with an idea, hear the idea of this frost pattern, and then you just see where it goes. You just say, oh, I wonder what would happen if I do this. And it's the seeing where it goes that sometimes that little inner voice pops up and says, well, that would be a dumb idea. That's never going to work. That's going to look silly. Why would you do that? And it's that pivotal moment, that just that little moment there that you get to decide whether or not to listen to that voice. It says, stop, don't do it, too scary. Something bad will happen. You'll feel foolish. And those moments come up all the time. Every single time we're doing something new, exploring something new, imagining something new, that little inner voice, the little voice of so-called safety, pops in and says, wait, what are you doing? That may not be a good idea. And then we get to choose. Do we want to try something new enough that we're willing to say no to that voice? And when we realize that this process is happening within us and just start to pay attention and witness our thoughts, we will see, at least I have seen in my own experience, that opportunity to decide happens all the time. Sometimes in fact, a lot of times we have these habitual thoughts that just are like hidden software and they just bobble around in the background and help us to make decisions when we don't know that the program is running and we don't recognize that we're actually in control of it and we can stop it and change it and morph it and explore new things instead of old habitual things. And it can be really easy to just allow those programs to run. Yeah, I'm scared, doing new things is scary. Maybe that's not the program that's running. Maybe there's some other program running in the background for you. But it's a slowing down, it's this process of slowing down and breathing and noticing. It helps us to discover where they are and what they're doing. Sometimes there are really helpful programs running in the background. Those are also really important to know. So we can say, oh, that's really amazing. I love that program. The I Can Do It, I've Done Hard Things program. I've done hard things in the past. If this is feeling challenging, I know I'm going to figure it out. It's also a little program that runs in the background. It's a super helpful program. We're just breathing and drawing. And I love what I'm doing right here is because I'm just creating spaces without really realizing it. So I can start adding black in other places. The black really grounds the tangle and the composition. It's a way of adding black to negative spaces instead of to the pattern itself. So then if I wanted to add color to this, to these little leafy petals here, my little frost flower, oh, I think frost flower is another totally different tangle. These look like little frost flowers to me. Then I could add color there while I still have the black grounding background. I really love this pattern. It's so fun. So we don't need to just connect them, although I'm really enjoying that. They can just hang out on their own, just playing in space. You can play with this aura. You can make it really specific or you can make it really loose. You can turn your tile while you're drawing. You can draw off the page. What if these little flower petals are doubled? So many possible what ifs. What I love about this process of exploring is that, I could wildly change these elements to make them look completely different, and that would be absolutely 100% okay. But I can also just make these really tiny little shifts in from the original pattern and create something that's so different that I wouldn't possibly have explored at all had I not thought to make that little change. So it's really fun to see what shows up when I just say, oh, I'm just going to do this little tiny little tweak. What will happen if I just change the shape of this? If I just change how the connection happens? If I just allow my pen to draw and say, good job, pen. Whatever shows up is absolutely perfect. This class, this way of drawing is an opportunity to allow that little bit of critique and judgment in the background to just take a break. You know, think that judge is going to be really tired. So many things to judge. At least for me, judging doesn't help me to feel good about myself or anybody else, especially when I'm drawing my creations. Because my creations just want to be what they are, little learning steps, little possibilities, little stepping stones to creating something else, something new, opportunities to learn more about what I like and what I don't like as much, opportunities to continue to expand my relationship with my hand and my pen. And I'm constantly denying myself that by saying, well, that's not good enough. Well, that was really dumb. This was not helpful. What's not helpful is that line of thought. And when I finally discovered that I was in charge of that voice, well, that was a really amazing day. Every single one of us is in charge of what's happening in our thoughts. It's one place where no one else has anything to say about what's happening in there. Our own private little space. You can draw these big, you can draw them small, you can change the shapes, you can change the connection points, you can connect them, not connect them, you can change the aura. You can do squiggles, change the fill. You can breathe, 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 breathe. Tune into your breath. What's so fun about drawing, unlike life, because sometimes there are serious consequences with making decisions, but in drawing, really what's happening is ink is on a page. That's all that's happening. So what? What if ink goes on a page in a way that you did not intend? Oh well. It doesn't really matter. But it's so much more pleasing when the ink goes on a page in a way you don't want to say, oh, maybe that's exciting. Maybe that's a breakthrough. Maybe that's the start of something really beautiful and wonderful that I wouldn't have created but for that ink going on the page exactly the way it did. And maybe if I say yes to that new idea, I'll explore and discover something even more exciting, which will be so much more fun than tearing it up, throwing it away, and complaining about not being able to do it. I used to do that. It was really not fun. Now I just say, wow, that's super cool. Let's see what else could happen. I'm going to draw another line. Okay. Start over here. However you want to explore this is absolutely up to you. I love about teaching these classes is that there are live students behind every single one of these videos if you're watching on the recording. And we share at the end, and they're always doing super fun things that I had not even considered doing. Because all of us come to this process with our own experience and their own preferences. And they're totally different because everybody is so unique. And that is so super fun to share and appreciate and get inspired. Somebody else will do something and be like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have thought of that, but I totally love it. I'm going to try it. And so it becomes this expansive process of community creation because none of us are ever working alone in any way. There's always our inner guidance, our little inner voice that's our intuition that's leading us. And there's also all of our friends and loved ones who are giving us advice and teachers that come into our life. A teacher can be absolutely anybody, someone who's inspiring you to think in a new way. And that can honestly be like the plumber who comes to your house. Would say something totally riveting and be like, oh my gosh, I never thought about whatever it is in that way before. And because you came to the house and you said this, now I've totally shifted my perspective about, well, everything. We never know where that little bit of inspiration is going to show up. So we start to look at absolutely everything in our life as a teacher. It makes those moments of learning so much more enjoyable, a little bit less challenging. Say, wow, this person or this thing or this experience is helping me to learn something new about myself, about the world, about how I like to show up, who I am. And when we resist, all kinds of drama and pain. And sometimes resisting has to happen before surrender happens. And that's okay. The point is to be so very kind to yourself in the process. We're all just doing the best that we can, learning new things all the time. Even when we're just sitting and breathing and drawing lines on the page really slowly. This pattern would be really fun. I'm always encouraging my students to draw on envelopes because it's just ridiculously fun to draw on envelopes. Send that art out into the world. And it's a place where you can explore freely and know that it's just going to go into the mail. Somebody will see it and they will be delighted. But this would be a really fun pattern because you could just sprinkle these around in the bottom left corner or on the back of the envelope. I encouraged my class when I was teaching a long time ago through community ed to draw on envelopes. And my student came in and she had drawn, I was always drawing on the front of the envelope, and she had drawn on the back flap. And it was so beautiful and so lovely. And that never occurred to me to draw on the back flap before. It's like, wow, well, that's super fun. I still usually draw on the front left corner. But now that we're having this little conversation, I might explore drawing on the back. Just breathing and allowing whatever wants to come out onto the page to come out onto the page without having it to be anything spectacular, anything crazy. And if it shows up in a way that you didn't intend, celebrate. Say, wow, that idea that you intended, it's still in there. It's still waiting. It doesn't have to come out on the first try or the second or even the third. Think about all the wonderful things that you're creating and exploring and experiencing, and the time it takes to allow new things to show up. And sometimes when you're drawing a pattern, you just really love what you're doing. And so you don't really want to explore anything new, but just keep drawing the same thing because it's so soothing. And that is absolutely perfect too. Drawing is for us, it happens for us, and we're choosing it. And however it wants to show up for you in the moment, it's absolutely perfect. Okay, some students that what's going on in their life when they begin drawing with me is just really kind of intense and traumatic, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And so their tiles end up being absolutely black, just black. And then when all that black gets out of there over time, tiles lighten up, the lines lighten up. This expansive, lovely, whimsical drawing takes shape and takes form, and didn't have to do anything but draw in order to get there. Of course, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, but it's just a process of allowing whatever shows up on the page to show up and honor it. Say, you beautiful line, you are showing up for me, and I'm so grateful to be sharing this time with you. We're constantly shaming and blaming and guilting ourselves for what's coming out of our pen. It's just no fun. It's really no fun. And since you're the one in charge, you're the one holding the pen, you're the one deciding to sit and draw. Isn't it better if it's just fun? So much better, I think. Just let it be fun, easy and fun. You could say, well, that's easy for you to say. You're teaching the class. I'm like, yeah, but I got here by drawing a lot of lines. And some of them I liked, and some of them I didn't. And that's okay. The point is, I just kept going. Just kept showing up to the page no matter what. That's all I did. Sometimes my students want to use a ruler to make a straight line. I say, all right, first of all, we don't do that in Zentangle. But second of all, if you use that ruler and draw that line for the next, let's even just say a short period of time, the next month, you will be no better at drawing a line than when you started, because the ruler is helping you the whole time. But if you just start drawing a line on the page, you draw it every day for a month, you will learn so much about that line and about your hand, and that line will change and morph over time. and you will be absolutely amazed at what you can accomplish just by holding a pen and drawing a line. It's just magic. And it just comes from showing up exactly as you are, no matter what, and allowing exactly as you are to be enough, no matter what. It's super fantastic. Okay, here are my explorations. I really love them. This was such a fun pattern, and I'm so glad that you guys came to explore it with me. Hello, welcome back. All right, so super exciting. I'm so glad you came to explore this pattern, as I said. And what you can do with these is you can leave them in library books. You can leave them on the bus. You can tuck them into, use them as they're really fun bookmarks. You can glue them onto a piece of cardstock and make a card out of it. You can just tuck it into a card when you're sending a note in the mail. Super fun. So if you would like to learn more about me and my classes, eternalpossibility.com. And if you would like to donate to these classes, you can do so at paypal.me/eternalpossibility. So I hope to draw with you again. And no matter how you are creating in your life, I hope that you give yourself a lot of grace, because creating is amazing.